What's up YouTube, Mr. MOSAIC here, and today we're going to talk about that S tier crazy MOSAIC build. It's wild. It is absolutely wild and insane, and yeah, let's just dive in. There is a lot to say about this character. So, first things first, I'll show you just a few things, okay? This is what I'm currently using. Let me get rid of the text. I'm level 91, almost 92. I just have a MOSAIC right here with 2 to Phoenix Strike, 1 to Weapon Block, a Shaco. I'm going to put an Umrune, 3 to Martial Arts. Don't have my Maras yet. Another MOSAIC. This one doesn't have anything on it. This one's literally a plain 3 open socket claw. I was just excited to get something going. I've got like a +3 Blades of Ice, 1 to Mind Blast over here, which is nice. I might make it. 2 to Fade isn't bad. 1 to Claws of Thunder. So I've got a couple claws that are okay. And I could do a little bit more. Another 2 to Blades of Ice, 1 to Mind Blast. So I'm looking around. But those are kind of the things. I have a Hustle right now. I want Enigma, but Hustle's nice just to have this faster run walk until I get there. And then 10 all res, 6 to evade, whatever. It's nice. 3 to Martial Arts Gloves, 11 cold res, 21 light res. Just have Immortal King's Belt right here. I don't have Arachnid Mesh yet. I don't have SOJ yet, so those ones are there. I've got a Ravenfrost, but this is just for resistances again, and then this is also just for resistances again, right? I'm really just trying to have resistances right now. Though I'll probably be able to drop some of this, and you know, maybe I could run like Gore Riders or something to get the physical damage as well mixed in with the Crushing Blow. That's all stuff for later. I've got Martial Arts Skillers and a Assassin Torch. Some random charms, just with resistances or MF or whatever. None of this is really optimized. Again, this is day, 2 of the ladder? Day 2.5. So none of this is, like, crazy optimized. But this is where we're currently at. And like I said, we want to get the Enigma going on this character eventually. That'll help out a lot. But let's dive into the meat of it. So I've been playing a lot of this character. Here's where we're currently at on our skill build. I've got max on all of these skills. 1-1. I put this as a base of 10. Honestly, I think putting only 1 point into Dragon Talon would make sense. And then 1-1-1, and then I put the rest of the points into Fade for right now. I actually really like the idea of just maxing Fade. 1 point Dragon Talon, and then just all your other points into Fade. Simply because getting that 1% damage reduction per point in Fade, you could get a huge level of Fade there, and that could just be really beneficial, on top of all the resistances that you get. But obviously maxing all of these for that damage. Now, there's been a lot of debate around it. How should I build these charges? What charges do I want to use together? And what I've really noticed, and something that is super interesting about this character, is that it is very useful to build different charges for different circumstances. So I'm going to show you guys a few things. First off, Phoenix Strike. If I have 1 charge of Phoenix Strike, when I do a hit of it, just a plain hit, I will always drop a meteor. Every time I do a hit, a meteor will drop wherever it is, right? If I use the Dragon Talon, I get 6 kicks, so that means I will drop 6 meteors. Quite nice, right? So that is if I have it at level 1. If I have Phoenix Strike at level 2, I will do the lightning, chain lightning here. And it is actually insane damage. And when mixed with like an infinity, or if you have a conviction paladin around you, whatever, this was murdering players 8 cows just with that. Because all these chain lightnings run through all of the monsters, and the damage is absolutely insane. But you'll notice no meteors drop down, right? If I go to the 3rd, I will get Chaos Bolt, which, if you see, looks like that. And it's actually, I mean, this isn't a good area to show it off because it has a lot of cold immunes. But it's actually really nice Chaos Bolt, because Chaos Bolt is going to provide you with freezing everywhere, right? Like, that killed all the way out to here. So if you're right here, you kick this one thing, all of those monsters just got hit by it. But again, there's no chain lightning or any of that, right? It is just kicking. And obviously that is 6 times, or as many of those kicks that go around. So we'll let this fall off. Because the next thing is, that's just Phoenix Strike. When you're working with the other charge up skills over here, your Fist of Fire, Claws of Thunder, Blades of Ice, these ones will actually, and because I have dual claw builds like that, for instance, right now I'm just having the Novas build, but if I build the third charge, then I get the Nova and the Charge Bolt to build up with all of it, right? And so this is the same with this. The first hit is cold damage, the second hit is cold damage in a radius, and the third hit is freezes for 24 seconds if you build up the third charge, which is really nice. Same thing goes over here with your Fist of Fire. Obviously I get the 2, but then if I get the third one, I get, you know, even more explosion right here, and it's really nice. And now you can start to see, as you build up more and more of these charges, and I can add in whichever layer of Phoenix Strike that I want, I can continue to build further and further. Now, all of this to be said, and let me bring one more piece in, which is Cobra Strike.
Souls.
So let me drop, not really fast, sorry. So if I have Cobra Strike, I actually get insane lifesteal and life regen right here, especially from all of these kicks. So even if I'm in a crazy position, if I'm just able to kick with all of these Cobra Strike charges on, life and mana steal 300%, I am just not going to die, right? I am just not going to die whatsoever. But you cannot run Cobra Strike and Fist of Fire at the same time, because Fist of Fire actually converts all of your physical damage into fire damage. Thus you do no physical damage, so you get no life leech from that. So, like I said, all of this creates some really interesting combinations, and I kind of want to paint them out really fast because we love paint. So, we have combo, you know, kind of 1 would be something, this is like your big damage, and so this would be PS2, that's Phoenix Strike 2, which is the Chain Lightning, right? And then you're gonna run your Blades of Ice, and you'll run Blades of Ice 3. I mean, those are all gonna be on the 3s, so just know that. So you'll run Blades of Ice, Fist of Fire, and Claws of Thunder. You can run all of these at 3, and you will just have really, really high, crazy damage, right? Combo 2 is going to be a little bit safer, and so you could run something, or I'll just say this would be like the safest build that you'd be running, and this would be running PS3, getting the Chaos Bolt, which is the freezing everywhere, and I'll show these kind of combos a little bit later, as well as Blades of Ice, Claws of Thunder, and then you could run Tiger Strike to increase that damage, and then that's if you want to, you don't really need to, and then Cobra Strike. And so this is where you get all that life leech. So this one has like really big freezing and then really nice life leech, and you're giving up this Fist of Fire here as well, right? Obviously you can also just run, you know, all charges that you want, whatever you want, but that seems to be a really like nice 2 different combos that you can kind of run there, and you can always really look between 1 and 2. Combo 3, I guess we should name them. This will be like Boss, this will be like Safety, and this will be, you know, Damage. And for bosses, you're gonna run PS1, which is your meteor. And then Blades of Ice, Fist of Fire, Claws of Thunder. And this will be your kind of boss killer because the meteor stacks are absolutely disgusting. So I'd say these are really the 3 different combos that you're going to look at. But there's still just the general idea, even when you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, you can always just take a look and say, okay, I'm struggling in this area and I want more safety, but I don't want too much safety. Maybe I don't want to run Chaos Bolt and run Cobra Strike. That'd be too much for me. So instead, you'd be coming out here, and this is where you can decide, okay, I want to run, 2 Phoenix Strike. Run these 3, run these 3. Let me just hit that off. And then I can run Cobra Strike as well. So this is a combo that I like a lot. You're running that PS2. But, if I wanted right here, I could switch it up and say, you know what, I want even more safety than this. I'm going to change that to PS3, and now you can see I get this Chaos Bolt as well, which will freeze everything in big circles. And that is just a lot safer, right? So you'll notice yourself switching between, do I want PS2, do I want PS3, do I want Cobra Strike, or do I want Fist of Fire? You'll just notice yourself doing a lot of that as you're going along. And, oh, that's right. And yeah. So those would be the 3 combos that I would mainly say, but you definitely want to play around. And again, just note what you need in the different areas. So for instance, I noticed that when I was in the Hell Cows Players 8 by myself, I needed to run Phoenix Strike 3 as well as, Blades of Ice, all of that right there. And then I wasn't running Leech because I was able to kind of freeze everything. Or I could run Phoenix Strike 2, but then I had to run kind of Leech with it. But without the fire damage, I felt like I wasn't clearing quite as fast. But if I had a Conviction Paladin next to me, or someone with Infinity or whatever, I could just run Phoenix Strike 2 and Blades of Ice 3 to get the just massive, freezing, plus all that damage, and everything would die, like, instantly. It was absolutely insane. So, yeah, like I say, this character has just so much that it can do. You can go kill bosses. You can go, fight just really any kind of monsters you want. The biggest issue is definitely making sure that you can build your charges up first. And so sometimes going and building charges in a safer area is actually the best thing that you can do for yourself. Just going and finding a safe area first. Additionally, if you're doing like Bale Waves, they won't last between wave 3 and 4, because on wave 3 and 4, it gets really gross, and so you won't be able to have that last right there, which is just unfortunate. It just takes too long. But besides that, I mean, again, you can just run forward. You can just murder everything. Yeah, it's really like a disgusting, disgusting build that exists. I think there should be some nerfs in some capacity, but I don't have it fully fleshed out how it needs to be yet. And it's not always exactly a nerf, but a way to kind of move it away from MOSAIC rune word completely, so that there's a little bit more, it's like you get to do this a little bit with other rune words, but then MOSAIC still has its own reason for existing and all of that. And yes, you'd have to step outside the throne to keep them up, because like I say, it's like really tight sometimes on if you can keep all your charges up. And if you drop all your charges, then it's really annoying when you drop all your charges. So, you know, but like for instance right here, I could switch over and run some fire as well. And now I have added some fire damage into my mix. Because I like a little bit of fire damage. Oh boy, super poison.
I am overburdened.
But yeah, you have to wait for the hydras to die. And that time there weren't any hydras, so it might not have. But essentially, you'll come out here and just look for like some way to kick one time. That's all you need. And then you can come back. And it still actually might not be enough because the laughing, we'll just have to see. Yep, there you go. So the charges wore off right there. So it's really annoying. Like I say, this is, you got to come back and then build up your charges again. And it's a little dangerous while you're trying to build all your charges up. So that is the clunkiest and worst part of the build, I would say right now, is that those things will drop in between those waves. And that just doesn't feel very good. But other than that, I mean, this is the build right here. And like I say, it'll also drop between Bale and between like Diablo and stuff. So has a couple things there, but you can mess around and again, kind of figure out how you want everything to be. I mean, I can just build up like one and just do some meteors on Bale, and if he'll just stand still. He usually doesn't like to stand still for very long. But if he'll stand still, you can see the fire damage just rack up real fast. And that's just from PS1, you know, not using any other skills whatsoever. Gets pretty nasty. So, yeah. This is the build. This is where it's at. And like I say, I love that the martial arts assassin is finally having a place in the game where you can play it, you can build to it, it's fun, it's interesting, all of that. It's a little clunky in some ways. The screen is a little too bright and lit up by all of the charges going off as well, so it can give you a little bit of a headache. Yeah, you definitely need some like sunglasses for it. But I hope they don't nerf it too much. I do hope that there's just some change to it. For instance, maybe moving the piece of like what's on MOSAIC, the 50% chance for finishing moves to not consume charges, over to, you know, like Claw Mastery or something over here. And then at the same time, you could have MOSAIC have something like you never lose charges. So then it's like all classes have the ability to like build to whatever charge they want, but then MOSAIC is like you never lose the charges, so that's its benefit. At the same time, I think you could also look at doing a little bit of something fun to it, which would be, sorry, I gotta think what I was just gonna say. You could do it where you never lose charges on MOSAIC. Oh my god. You build charges, never lose them. I can't even remember what I was going to say. Something with like increased charge duration per level could also work. That could be something that could be beneficial for her. But, gosh, why can't I remember? What was I going to say? I'm about to end it. I don't know. Maybe I'll post it in the comments or something below. I got pregnancy brain. So yeah, I really can't remember. I'm trying, but my mind is completely blanking on it. I'm looking at like all the skills. I'm trying to. MOSAIC, move it over to that. MOSAIC, charges never get lost. There's one more key piece to it. Oh, I was going to say, but only make it so you can have 2 active at a time. And that, I think, would be really, really great because it would allow you to constantly shift between what you want to have up. So you could say, I want to run Phoenix Strike and Blades of Ice. And that would probably be what you're going to run a lot of times. However, sometimes you might say, okay, now I need some fire damage. Because a lot of times I'll run into a boss and they're cold and lightning immune or something. And if I'm running, you know, PS2 and Blades of Ice, then, all right, well, that doesn't really work there. But I can suddenly build up 3 Fist of Fire charges, kill that boss, and then build back my Phoenix Strike charges or whatever and shift it out. And so being able to constantly adjust between which 2 charges you want. Okay, I'm going to put some Cobra Strike charges on now to get a little lifesteal. All of that, I think, would actually be a pretty good way to balance it. Like I say, I haven't fleshed it out completely, but I do think it would be quite nice. So, with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. Mwah. Kisses to you all. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.